Most conservatives and constitutionalists cite the United States Constitution for their beliefs and actions and demand that those who take the oath to the Constitution adhere to it as it was actually written. There's another document which is just as important and under which the American Revolution was waged, and that is the Declaration of Independence. Americans need to read and reread the Declaration to get an understanding of the spirit of the movement which led to the American exceptionalism and served as the guide for the Continental Congress until the country was formed under the peace treaty with King George III after he signed it. There is no excuse for not being educated today. We have so many avenues that one can learn from, and our videos are a great place to start. Please help share this information with others. Go to our social media platforms and hit subscribe, like, and share. So, one very important aspect of the Declaration, which is very pertinent in today's world, is that we declare that we derive our rights from God, not government or nature. Can you think of another government which does this? Neither can I. It makes us very unique and is the foundation for our government. If we derive our rights from God, no government can legitimately take our rights away or even control them. It is that simple, no matter what the powers that be want you to think. More, the Declaration of Independence lists a number of grievances which the Crown of England was imposing on Americans and for which Americans said they had had enough and declared their independence. Let's look at 3 grievances and how they bear on our conditions today. The Declaration says, quote, "He has erected a multitude of new offices and set hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance," unquote. Keep this in mind in relationship to the 87,000 new IRS agents, armed and ready to eat out your substance as a result of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Certainly, this falls under the grievance our forefathers pointed out in the Declaration. The IRS agents will constitute an army. They've already made provisions for these agents to not only be armed, but have all the paraphernalia of combat soldiers, guns, body armor, night goggles, etc., etc. The Declaration had something to say about this as well. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. So we see another provision of the Declaration being implemented by our own government under the current Biden administration. The provisions for the new agents for the IRS have all the appearance of an army as to what they will be called upon to do and how they are equipped. The Declaration also said this, quote, "He is combined with others to subject us to jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation," unquote. In this regard, we are witnessing the implementation by our government of environmental regulations, acting as laws, but have never been enacted as laws, coming about due to such agreements as the Paris Climate Accord. A good example is the capture of CO2 in the plains of the Midwest as part of this accord. Jurisdiction foreign and unacknowledged by our laws, by the use of pretended legislation, is how the Declaration stated it, and that is what is being done today. We recommend that you not only use the Constitution to educate your fellow Americans, but the Declaration of Independence as well, to show people how we are digressing from the principles upon which this country was founded and the growing totalitarianism of the federal government. We are not advocating for a physical revolution. The revolution, as John Adams pointed out, must be in the minds and hearts of the American people, not on the battlefield. He wrote, "But what do we mean by the American Revolution? Do we mean the American War? The Revolution was effected before the war commenced. The Revolution was in the minds and hearts of the people, a change in their religious sentiments, of their duties and obligations. This radical change in the principles, opinions, sentiments, and affections of the people was the real American Revolution," unquote. When enough Americans understand and are organized, we can save our country and our freedom for ourselves, our children, and grandchildren. Educate and then organize. Nothing happens without organization. Nothing. Join the John Birch Society. Form chapters in your neighborhood. Get busy or perish. Start by spreading the word. Go to our social media platforms and hit subscribe, like, and share. Our founders understood the importance of activism and were willing to pay any price to maintain their liberty. We are not asking for this level of commitment, but we are warning people that unless they commit to some level and get active in real solutions, the American Republic will disappear.